Hi, I'm Trish. I've got a little update for you that's not really an update because nothing's happened, but I thought I'd check in with everyone and let everyone know that nothing's happening. I'm on a waiting list to get sleeved, and because I had my lap band out last August. So I was told, because I'm in the public system, that I had to wait 6 months after having my lap band removed to get sleeved. So that makes it 6 months now. I have already had my pre-op clinic appointment back in January. I think it was, I can't remember what date, but it was back in January, so it's, like a month ago. Now, you're supposed to have your surgery pretty soon after that, otherwise, like all the tests and everything they do become irrelevant. So even if they call me today, because I've got to do 2 weeks of keto before the surgery. So that was just my phone. So as I was saying, even if they call me today, they've got to give me 2 weeks notice because I've got to do 2 weeks of keto. So that'll be at least 6 weeks. I'm going to actually check when that pre-op clinic was. Yeah, that pre-op clinic was on the 30th of January. So that would make it 6 weeks if they call me today and give me 2 weeks notice and do me in 2 weeks. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I can't get any answers out of them. I have tried, I initially tried calling the waiting list office, and I called and just kept leaving messages, and I was getting put through to the wrong phones and everything. Having said that, the lady that I spoke to when I went to my last clinic appointment in the bariatric clinic, not the pre-op clinic, she said, because I said to her, I'll call and see if there's a date and whatever, and she said, it's best not to call, it's best to email me because they don't really answer their phones, or it's very difficult to get through to them or whatever. So I ended up emailing that lady, and she's really lovely. She's doing everything she can to help me, but I still don't have a date. I've been told, we need to discuss it with the surgeon and make sure that you can be done at the Epworth and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just being told stuff that I already know, like, you're a high priority category 3 and you're listed as ready for care and everything. I know all that. I want a date. I need a date. And it's not just because I've got to do that 2 weeks pre-op. If it was that simple for me, I would just wait and, because when I went into the pre-op clinic, the coordinator there said that I would be done in March. So, I've only got a month at the most to wait. But I wanted to try to do an extra week or 2 of keto, but I can't do that unless I have a date, because just what if I'd started that extra week or 2 back in the middle of February or even at the start of February, and then my surgery wasn't till the end of March? There's no way that I can do that really strict keto for 2 months. Because I know I've done it before, like the really, really, really strict keto, and I've got about a month in me, like without any help from a sleeve or a lap band or whatever. That's my limit. So I need that date. Plus also I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm having lots of problems with my periods. Like, I need to have a hysterectomy later on this year problems. So because of that, I was taking a high-dose progesterone that lessened my bleeding because I was becoming anemic and having to have an iron infusion because my iron was getting so low. Now, one of the requirements for having this sleeve surgery is that my iron is above 50. So I had an iron infusion only last November or December, so my iron should be okay now. Because I was taking the progesterone, my periods were lighter. But because I can't have that high-dose progesterone within 6 weeks of having any surgery, I've had to stop taking that because I don't know when my date is going to be. Because they said it would be that I had to wait for 6 months, I had to leave February open, so I stopped taking it at the beginning of January. Now, I think I've had 2 periods because they're all over the place, and I can't really sort of go, I'm going to get my period every 28 days. Sometimes it's 3 weeks, and sometimes it's 4 or 5 weeks. It's just all over the place. So I had to stop taking that, and I've had a couple of periods, and they've been all right so far. But that all of that high-dose progesterone is now out of my body. I'm due to get my period any day now, and I don't know what's going to happen. If I have another really heavy bleed, and I'm talking about like bleeding heavy and bleeding for like 12, 14 days, from previous experience when I've had an iron infusion, I know that a heavy period will drop my iron levels by 30 points per period. So the more time I have to have more periods before this surgery, the more likely my iron is going to go down. So I'm now also having to look at, when I do finally get a date, if I have a heavy period, I'm going to have to go and see my GP, get my iron levels tested, and then try to get fit in for an iron infusion, which will make me feel shit for probably at least a week afterwards. So I've got to have all this done, and it's just too much in my head. And also because of the heavy periods, I've got to take another drug called cyclocapron whenever I get my period to make my period stop. Now, I can't get a straight answer out of anyone. I've spoken to my GP about it, my gynecologist about it, the pharmacist about it, like my regular pharmacist, plus the pharmacist at the Alfred, and I've been told anything from, you can't take that medication for a couple of days before surgery, to don't take it for 2 weeks beforehand. I'm not going to mess with that. I need to not take that for 2 weeks beforehand. So what if I get my period and then I'm taking this medication and then they say, oh, can you have your surgery in 2 weeks? And I've just had, 4 or 5 days of this medication. It's doing my head in, because I want to try to be as fit and healthy and safe as possible. I've been killing myself at the gym. I'm doing, 16 kilometres. I've gotten up to 16 kilometres on the bike every second day. That takes me about, depending on the trail I do, it's like anywhere between 40 and 50 minutes, and that's a lot for me for cardio, and it's really hard cardio because it's hills and stuff. So I'm just, as you can see, my head's just really, really stressing over it, because I'm just a person who needs to plan things, and I don't feel like I'm able to plan this how I want to plan it. I have started meal prepping. I've got turkey and mushroom completely keto burgers in my freezer. So then when I start the keto, that's a meal for me. You throw that and handful of salad on a plate, and that's good for a meal. I've put turkey, meatball, veggie and spinach soup in the freezer because I really like that, and that's a good keto meal as well. Tons and tons of veggies. Actually, with the burgers and the soup, there's enough veggies in each of those meals that I don't actually have to have veggies with them. They'll cover my veggie requirements for the day, but I will have a little bit of extra veggies with the burgers, probably not with the soup. I won't need to. It's very, very filling, like tons and tons of veggies in it. What else did I want to tell you? That's about it. I'm just stressing, trying to get a date out of the Alfred for my surgery, and I know they've got all their their rules and their procedures and everything, and I'm a bit of a stress head, but I wish they could just give me a date. Just give me a date that I can work towards and stop stressing. And like the weight gain is so stressful for me. The more weight I put on, the more likely I am to have just completely ruined my tummy tuck. My boobs just keep growing, and I don't know if that's the weight gain, like if I'm just gaining all of the weight in my thighs and my boobs, but that's it's just become ridiculous. So that's me just stressing. As soon as I find out a date, I will let everyone know. I'll be happy. I'll be able to relax. And that's it. That's it for now. Wish me luck. Wish for me that I get a phone call from the Alfred any day now, giving me a date. That would make my day.